While the soil of southern plantations fueled the engines of racial oppression, the soil of the Adirondacks fed the dreams of a more perfect union. The land itself became the vehicle for democracy. We ask for your help in creating the Adirondack Folk Opera. We want to tell the story of the struggle for democracy that occurred here in our mountains. Since this is our story, we're crowdsourcing memories, music, diaries, and photographs from lovers of the Adirondacks to ensure the unique character of the story. We've already begun work with historians, musicians, and students in collecting a wide range of sources.
The response to our initial performances was overwhelming. Our local audiences discovered, on both an intellectual and an emotional level, that this was their story. This was a unique contribution to the national struggle for racial equality. It quickly became clear that this story deserved far more than a couple choral songs. It needs to be brought to the stage with all the power and drama that opera can deliver.
In the mid-19th century, New York State required free blacks to own land before they could vote. To fulfill this requirement, Gerrit Smith decided to donate upwards of 120,000 acres of Adirondack wilderness to 3,000 black men. Lyman Epps arrived near Lake Placid with his wife and young children in 1848. John Brown's family supported these farmers in the difficult job of coaxing crops from the Adirondack soil. Lyman's extended family would remain in the Adirondacks for 100 years.
Lyman Epps was a regular man who lived in the midst of extraordinary events. His long life of persistent dedication to the Adirondacks was intertwined with profound shifts in our country, including abolition, women's rights, the Civil War, and so much more. The music of the Adirondack Folk Opera will mirror his life. We will use simple folk melodies that carry within them the power and beauty that reflects the historic changes that took place during this everyman's life.
All day we swept the lake.
This is not only a story about black farmers. It is also a story about strong women, both black and white, that helped each other survive. Mary Brown, John Brown's wife, supported her 13 children and the Timbuktu farmers, while John left town for Kansas and Harper's Ferry. She was one of so many invisible women who quietly got things done. It reminds me of Sojourner Truth's Ain't I a Woman? That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I could have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could heed me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could get it, and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen them most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
My greetings and blessings to you from every child on the...
I've lived here for most of my life, raising my children and teaching music. The Adirondacks are quite often seen as a place for hikers, campers, and Olympic athletes. We all too often forget that farmers, adventurers, abolitionists, and healers also make up the fabric of these mountains. Their voices will be heard in this opera.
Those are the same stars.
This year marks significant progress toward our goal of creating the Adirondack Folk Opera. Our initial fundraising from grants and individual donors laid the groundwork for historical research, artist residencies with high school students, and a concert featuring the latest musical works of the project. We even attracted nationally acclaimed baritone Jarrell Williams to join us on this musical journey. We've come a long way since this idea was born, and we continue to be humbled by the support and encouragement among music lovers in the Adirondacks and beyond. So, it's time to take our next step. With concert-proven music and a solid base of historical research under our belt, we are ready to complete the libretto and the full musical score. This requires the time and expertise of a team of writers, historians, and musicians, so our goal is to reach $15,000 for this next phase. If we go beyond this amount, we will save the rest for the next phase of the project. Please check out all the thank you gifts that we're sharing at each level of donation. In this election season, we know that many candidates and political parties are asking you for support. We may vote for different candidates, but I think we can all agree that no one should be held back from casting their vote. So your donation to the Adirondack Folk Opera will add your voice to this powerful American story. Together, we can make sure that no one forgets that our precious right to vote needs to be celebrated and defended, and we will do it in story and song.
Come on, let's vote!